Right, so I've just bought this Mercedes E-Class as a bit of stock. Actually bought it about a week ago. I've had a bit of prep done on it, and it's just arrived back from getting the wheels refurbed. Now I wanted to get this car on my channel, one, because it's a pretty cool car, isn't it? Like, look at it, that is a seriously good looking car, and two, because I actually drove it home last night because my M5's gone off to the body shop to get a couple of bits done, so I drove this home to get an idea for how I feel about the Mercedes E-Class, because obviously being an M5 owner, the E-Class is like the comparable car in the Mercedes range. Is that like the loudest bird ever? You hear that? You can definitely hear that. But yeah, I'm going to let you know my thoughts on Mercedes as a brand, my thoughts on the Mercedes E-Class, and then thirdly my thoughts on this Mercedes E-Class. Alright, let's get on with the video. Here we go then, 2018 Mercedes E350D. It's got a big fat grille at the front there, which I really like. That private plate is not actually staying with the car. It'll go back to, I think it's on a 68 reg now. It'll go back to that plate before it gets sold. Like I said, I've just been off to the body shop. It came in with a little scuff on the bumper there. We had the wheels done as well because they were all curbed. That's actually tyre shine there, guys, that ain't curbing. Yeah, and what else did we have done? I think that is everything. Oh, it came in with like a front splitter and side skirts as well, but when we went to do the paint on the front bumper, we realised the splitter was cracked, so we just removed it and left it as it's a clean looking car. I didn't really want to refit splitters and side skirts back on it because I thought, you know, it's a classy car, it's not a chavvy car. So as you come around the back, what's really funny about these new Mercs is if you look at the exhaust tips there is actually no exhaust there at all. It's just there for looks, which is quite interesting. You've got the E350D badge. It's an AMG line car as well. Should have mentioned that in the intro there. It is an E350D AMG line 4MATIC, as you can see by the 4MATIC badge. Now as you look at the back of these cars, I think they've got a real bold presence to them. The rear lights make the car look really fat and chunky. It's quite a wide thing as well. It almost pulls off as like a lady's car, and it does also pull off as a man's car as well. Now annoyingly, I don't actually have a spec list for this car. I just went on HPI, done a spec check. There is no spec check available on this car via HPI. I could contact Mercedes, but I'm just going to go through what I think it has off the top of my head as we wander around the car. These wheels, for starters, they are the 20-inch wheel option, so they're really nice. Much prefer them than the other wheels. They just look a bit more glam than the other ones. Obviously we've got this maroon red roof as well. That's definitely an optional extra. I would assume that they would probably came with a black roof from factory, and we have also got pearl white paint, which is amazing, until obviously you want to do bodywork on it. It costs you a bloody fortune to do, but forget about that. On the interior we've got the black ashwood dash, which I personally prefer over the silver dash. I don't know if these commonly came with silver dashes, but I've obviously often looked at E63 AMGs. That was a car that I wanted over my M5, and I much preferred this dash option over the silver dash option. It's also got two-tone leather interior. Customer there just test drove the Duke. Get that one sold, hopefully. Two-tone interior, black and red. I like that. It's not, the red's not too dominating. It's sort of 50-50, which is really nice. The steering wheel is like the same steering wheel that was in the earlier cars. Like I pointed out, that's not actually the same C-Class that I talked about the other day, but that is another one just got in stock. But yeah, the same steering wheel as that, but it has got the little touch-sensitive buttons there on the steering wheel that we spoke about in the C300 video, which is quite a nice feature. This car was also spec'd with the big virtual cockpit. Now they don't all come with that. I have just had a little look online. It seems like it's not a very common thing. Like, to me, that is a massive feature on this car. I'll show you that in a sec when we get the car started. It's literally a screen that goes from the driver's side through to the center of the dash there, and yeah, it's really dominating, really good looking thing. So what else can I talk about? Is that everything? Is that everything, Cal? E350D, 3-litre turbocharged diesel engine, by the way. It's 250 horsepower, which ain't a massive amount of power, I don't think, but it has got about 450 pound-feet of torque, which isn't too bad at all. And I will show you in a second how I feel about how this thing delivers power. It weighs 1900 kilos, so it is a very heavy car. And little things like when you open that door, in fairness, it does give it a really premium feel, because it is such a heavy door. But that is, yeah, that's a very heavy door on the negative side. So trim wise, They do look amazing, but you know what? I'm going to stop banging on, quickly show you the dash there, because that's just lit up as I've opened the door. We'll jump in it now, quickly talk about values, and we'll go for a drive in it, all right? Let's go. Wow, this car inside just looks so good, doesn't it? It's also got these reach extenders for the seat belts, which is really good, because Mercedes come up with a genius idea of making a loop around the extender rather than BMW when they done them. I think on the E92 BMWs it was more like an arm that pushed, and they just never seemed to work, and they actually used to brake a lot, so credit to Mercedes, they've done a good job of them. So visuals, that's what I want to talk about with this car, because I think Mercedes as a brand have absolutely nailed visuals inside and out. The thing that drew me to buy, or wanting to buy this car as a bit of stock, was the way it looks. The pearl white paint with like the black touches on the mirrors, the front grille with a bit of chrome around it as well, even the satin silver trim around the bottom of the convertible roof there, and then when you get in the inside, the black and red interior, the whole combination of black, red and the white body, it just looks so good. And then when you get in here, you've got the black ashwood dash and the virtual cockpit. The spec on this car is so good. It's actually got a ghost immobiliser as well, which I hate, but let's get Eminem switched off before I get copyright issues with YouTube. Let's just quickly do the ghost alarm as well. That's it, I've completely forgot what I was talking about now. I think I was about to talk about values, but before we talk about anything else, let's quickly mention this virtual cockpit. So although it is visually one screen, it's actually two separate screens. In front of you, you've got the usual stuff that you'd have on any car, but it's a very nice layout there, and it's all customizable. You can flick through the menus with these little black touch sensitive buttons on the steering wheel that I mentioned earlier, which is very nice. And then over to that side, you can navigate your way around that screen using the left toggle, which is also very nice, very easy to use, very nice layout, and you've also got the option to navigate around it. That's the family that just bought the Duke. Apparently they did buy it. Congratulations to them on their new car. Down here you've got yeah, the usual stuff where you can navigate your way through the infotainment system as well, using this the toggle and the spinning thing down the bottom here. So yeah, values, that's what I need to talk about, because this car, the book value of this car, the retail book value of this car is £34,000. It's done 39,000 miles. The cheapest car with a virtual cockpit, which I think is an absolute must if you're buying one of these cars, is £36,000. If you look at the cars without the virtual cockpit, don't get me wrong, they're lovely inside, they're really nice, but that analog cockpit, it just don't look nowhere near as good. And when you're buying a Mercedes, I think you kind of you've got to have that in you. I need to talk to you about my thoughts on the E-Class as well. Do I regret not getting an E63 AMG, because that's something that I get asked all the time. Should I have bought an E63 AMG over an M5? I'll talk about that in a sec, but what we'll do now is we'll hit the roads. I'll talk to you about how I feel about the drive of this car, I'll talk to you about Mercedes E-Classes in general, and we'll also do draggy times as well, all right? So let's hit the roads. I'll just quickly, before we go, I just sort of put it in reverse and realised that I need to remind you lot how great the quality of the reverse camera is on Mercedes. I keep forgetting to tell you, every time I drive a Mercedes, I look at that reverse camera and I think, wow, that is seriously good quality. So I thought I'd quickly just add that before we hit the roads. Let's get on the road now, yeah? And we are off in the Mercedes E-Class. It does feel very classy. In fact, when I first drove it, I thought it's not on par with a Bentley. It's definitely not on the level of a Bentley, but it's got a bit of a Bentley sort of feel to it. It's that level of class. I wouldn't say level of quality, but definitely that level of class. I do think we will look at it and think, wow, that looks like a seriously expensive car, and it does. And even like I keep saying, the way it all feels, it just feels like a seriously expensive car. So, but obviously value-wise, it's actually not that expensive. £35,000, it ain't a crazy amount of money. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. Let's talk about the way this thing drives. So as you pull away, it pulls off in comfort mode, and as with most modern day cars, you have got the ability to switch through your drive selects. This has got multiple modes of driving. It's got eco mode, it's got comfort mode, it's got sport plus, and then you can individually select how you want the thing set up as well. So we'll put it in sports plus mode. You notice straight away it drops a gear, throttle response is a lot sharper. I feel like you can't drive it any other way, like there is no other way of driving this car. It's just yeah, let's quickly get in front of that Nissan Leaf, because that's not going to be going at much of a pace. But yeah, I just feel like, yeah, without it in sports mode, it just feels a bit sluggish, a bit lazy, a bit, as you'd expect. expect it would be in its eco or comfort mode. Okay, so what's really interesting for me is driving this car home last night gave me the opportunity to conclude how I feel about driving a Mercedes E-Class or buying an E63 AMG over my M5. The simple reason for that is the cockpit of this car is very similar to what it would be in an E63 AMG, okay? Obviously, it's not a comparable car. This is a 350D, so it's nowhere near as, doesn't perform in the same way whatsoever, but it does offer the experience at least in some way, all right? I think that's fair to say that. So I drove it home last night, and naturally I did feel a bit disappointed with the diesel engine. It is quite quick, but it's put in. We'll see how well it does 20 to 70 mile an hour times in a sec. My guess is it would probably do sub 6 seconds. We'll see about that. It is quite a heavy car, but going back to how I feel about how it drives, yeah, obviously it's very premium in there, it's very classy, but it's just, I don't know what it is about Mercedes. Something about the brand I just don't feel too drawn to. I said earlier that they've nailed visuals to perfection. Like the way they look inside and out is absolutely spot on, but for some reason it just feels like there's been corners cut with quality, and I can't put my finger on why. I don't know if that's just personal preference or personal feeling. I can't even point out any negatives in here, which is, how can I even say that I feel like negative about something but then not even have anything to back that? I just don't know what it is. I don't know if it's how thin the leather feels. That sounds stupid, but that leather feels really thin. The quality of the leather doesn't feel quite as good as the quality of leather in BMWs. The dash there, it's got that sort of stitched dash, but something about it just feels like it's a, oh no, there's a man with a dog, and then up there we've got a van. So what we'll do is we'll back up, it's back towards the Nissan Leaf, fully electric Nissan Leaf. In fact, Auto Trader recently bought, for those that might have seen that video, Rory Reid from Auto Trader recently bought a Nissan Leaf from me. If you didn't see that video, go check it out on their channel. It was the cheapest Nissan Leaf in the country. He's trying to give me lessons on how to drive. Mate, there's a car there, as much as I would love to just come along. I'd rather not hit the car. Thank you, sir. Completely forgot what I was talking about now. Just ranting on, don't know what I was saying. No idea. Absolutely no idea. I was saying about how I feel about the quality. Yeah, the dash, I don't know what it is, doesn't feel too quality, but forget about my opinion. It is definitely personal preference. There's plenty of people out there that would much prefer a Mercedes over a BMW. I'm just giving you my feeling on, do I think I should have an E63 AMG over a BMW M5 competition? No, I don't. I definitely don't. I much prefer my M5. I don't know why. I have not yet driven an E63 AMG, so I can't fully comment, but I have no urge to buy one at this stage in my life. At some point soon, it'll probably happen though. We all know what I'm like, all right? So the gearbox, quickly pointing that out, it's a very nice, smooth gearbox. It's a 9-speed ZF gearbox. Very smooth, very solid, also feels very strong, and you have got the option, as with most cars, to manually shift, which is also a very nice thing to do. So what we'll do now is shifting through the gears. It's all very good, very nice. Well, yeah, what we'll do now is we'll quickly do draggy times. Yeah, let's see how quickly it does 20 to 70 miles an hour. Right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Obviously it's a 4MATIC, which means it's a 4-wheel drive, so we're not going to have any traction issues whatsoever. There you go, that's 70 miles an hour straight away, no messing around. Does it need to be 4MATIC? I suppose days like today where it's raining, it's, you know, we would have loss of traction, but it's not overly powerful. It's quite a heavy car, so I think as a rear-wheel drive it would probably manage to power quite well. But yeah, the first run, it didn't do it in a bad time at all. It done 20 to 70 miles an hour in 6.14 seconds, so that was also a verified time. But what I will do, as ever, I'll do a couple more runs and see if I can beat it. Right, so I've done a few more runs, and strangely enough, the quickest time that I'd done was the very first run, which was 6.14 seconds. I've done a load more, but every single other one was slower. 6.14 seconds ain't amazing time. It's actually just behind the C300 petrol coupe that I done a video on the other day, which is quite interesting. And then the car up from that, I think, was the C350 hybrid, which was a slightly quicker car. All got a similar amount of brake horsepower, but one thing I would say about this is, you know, like standard diesel stuff, mid-range, it does feel quite pokey and punchy. It doesn't feel like a slow car at all. I think me as a petrol head, I don't know, the diesel thing, I suppose tuned diesels are cool, but to daily drive diesel, I suppose they do offer fuel economy. That's something I should talk about. But talking about the petrol head thing, noise. There's no noise here. There's no real excitement. Bit of power, but that is about it. Nothing massively thrilling for me as a petrol head. But from the start of this journey, where I've been driving it quite hard, I would say, mixture of driving, it's done 23.7 miles per gallon, which is, I think, is pretty good. But on my journey in this morning, it averaged about 29.9, which is really good. So as an overall package, I don't know what this guy's doing. Oh, he's just on the phone. He's just chilling on the phone in the middle of the road. That's right, mate. It's right, man. No rush. Need to do them Facebook posts in the middle of the road. That is priority. So yeah, for me, it ain't my kind of car, but as an overall package, road presence, good looks, good comfort, and the option to get a roof down in the summer and a four-wheel drive for the winter, it's a very good all-round package, and it ain't a crazy amount of money, I don't think. So it's definitely got all of that going for it. For me though, I'm not sitting here saying I am a BMW man. There's no way I'm going to rule out the whole of the Mercedes brands, because I know there's lots of Mercedes that I do actually really like, and there's lots that I'm yet to drive as well. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did like this video, do me a favour and hit that bloody like button, guys. Hit the like button, hit subscribe if you are new to my channel, for a new video every Wednesday and Sunday at 6 o'clock. And if you're on Instagram, give me a follow on Instagram at Calvin's Car Diary, and I'll see you in my next video. One thing I quickly want to say is these little heater fans, they're well cool. Yeah, I really like them. Yeah, just thought I'd quickly throw that in. Yeah, see that. In the next episode of Diary of a Car Trader, it's another Fiesta ST, but the big question is, was it a deal or no deal? Find out on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. See you then.